was on the John, the phone rings, and this funny little voice says, "This is Alexander Sorkin, you know who I am?" I said, "No." He said, "What do you mean you don't know who I am?" I said, "No, I don't know who you are. What are you selling?" He said, "I'm not selling anything. I'm a very famous producer." He said, "We're making the movie Superman, and I want to know if you want to direct 2 movies at the same time." So they sent the script over, and the guy delivering it got a hernia. It was like that big, and had all this goofy, silly stuff, like Superman flying down and tapping Telly Savalas on the shoulder. He turns around and is telling, he says, "Who do you love, baby?" I called my dear friend Tom Mankiewicz, who was a friend and a wonderful writer. I said, "I want to talk to you." He drove over to my house.
So I drove over there, rang the doorbell, no answer, went around the side of the house, and there's Dick on the lawn, dressed in the Superman suit.
And I came running across the lawn with a cape on, and Tom said, "Whatever you're in, I'm on. It's it. Or whatever you're on, I'm in."
And he said to me, "Put it on. Just put the suit on. If you put the suit on, you'll do it. You feel different with the suit on." I started laughing, and we sat down and started talking, and he sucked me in, and off we went.
One came out, and I had my obligation to go back and finish 2. I mean, I was ready to go, and I get a telegram one day. It says, "Your services will no longer be needed." Richard Lester was taking over the film. I never, to this day, ever heard from Richard Lester. I was so pissed off, you can't believe it, because I was ready to go back, obviously not asking for any more money. I'd been paid. And I wanted to go back, and Tom and I wanted to go back. But as I say, they chose to send me this telegram. I was ready to get on an airplane and kill, because they were taking my baby away from me. But it's showbiz, and I managed to get through it.
Obviously, 2 had to be finished, and Terry Semel came to me and said, "Lester would like me to finish 2. Could I go over and work with him?" And I said, "I can't do that." I said, "Dick Donner is my friend. Dick Donner brought me on this project. They fired Dick, and I can't do it." Dick was the one who said to me, "You know, if we can make the love story work, the rest of the picture's going to fall into place." And it really became what Dick would call 2 kids on a date. I remember intentionally writing the last line in that balcony scene. Superman looks down at her and he says,
"Peter Pan flew with children, Lois, in a fairy tale."
Well, the implication being, obviously, this is real. This is not a fairy tale.
I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree.
I had a shooting date of Brando.
With Marlon there at the beginning, it was key, because he was incredibly funny. On the first day, I came onto the set, and then he said, have you read this? I said, "Yeah." I said, "Haven't you read it, Marlon?" "No, I haven't read it." I said, "Marlon, why haven't you read it?" "Well, you know, it might be crap, and I need the money, you know, so I haven't read it."
He came up to me the first day and he said, "Hey, Mank," he said, "I just read the whole script for the first time." I said, "Really?" He said, "This film's a bleeping Valentine."